Good. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, which is kind of cool. But we'll go out and play some frisbee. King, you want to go play some frisbee? Let's go do it. Let's go. Oh, wait. Let's do this officially. Let's do it officially. Boom. So King and I are going to go do some flat work. Let's go, handsome. Come on, Superman.
Super
King.
weird.
Right, this here versus this. And you can see him shift. Come on, right? You can see him shift each time. And that shift is, it might be the thing that is necessary for you to get your dog to flip. Yes, good man. Ouse. Ouse, yes.
Kind of are. I think water resistant would be the proper word. I'll give you another pack. I got a pack here. I'll hook you up, John. I'll hook you up. I will hook you up. Happy, easy, a pup. Yes, chill. Chill. Be a good man. Yeah, that's good, man. Rust Grizzy and Marty McFly. I got a tip for that, John.
Oh, you got hose.
I got a tip for that.
You got hose.
Don't get them wet.
Only 2.
Josh, good timing. Wrong side of America. Funny.
Make it out. Hey.
I don't see a lot of right sides around these days, John. Oh, look at the little cupcake. She's so cute. What happened? What happened?
I can't reach it.
What do you... It looks like
Yeah.
evidence.
Whoa.
Evidence. She likes to take her toys and throw them on fabric. And then, oh my God, my toy is caught in the fabric. What am I gonna do? Frisbee is about the stuff between the tricks, right? You have 36 tricks in a freestyle routine, maybe, if you're lucky. It's a lot of tricks, right? So 36, 32, 36, right? That's pretty packed freestyle routine. Each trick takes anywhere from half a second to 1.5 seconds, right? The actual trick, yeah? So what are you doing for the other minute 30, minute 45, right? All the stuff happens between the tricks.
Go.
Dojo bot giving you the evil eye.
Ouse. Go. Ouse.
Epi's penmanship.
Yes, ouse. Up. Ouse.
If you don't read cursive, kids, it says epic.
Good. Ouse. Through. Yes, ouse. Yes. Badass. Go.
Through and flip.
Good. Ouse. Go. Ouse. Yes, ouse. Up.
Do it, Epi.
Ouse. Good. Right there. Yes, good. Good. Ouse. Through. Yes, ouse. Yes. Badass.
All right. Hey. Welcome to the dojo. I'm your host, Ron, and this is my co-host, Epic. He's badass. Total badass. Welcome to the show. Philosophy Friday, and I got a banger for you this week. Take a picture of them inside. Take your phone outside. Get your phone wet. I have a debate on how to keep jamming flashcards dry. Keep them dry. Super funny. I feel for you though, John. I got another pack for you. Don't sweat it. All right, so yeah, got a banger this week. We're gonna do some process philosophy. We go through process philosophy and we're gonna task it to dog training, and it's pretty fascinating. There's some really awesome stuff within Albert North Whitehead's process philosophy. that is super applicable to dogs. It's stuff that behaviorism has to leave out because of the science thing, and we'll talk about that. But I'd like to wait a little bit for some people to get here so I can run them all off with all that talking shit. But I do hope you'll stick around. It's cool stuff, man. It's cool stuff. It's stuff we should know, and it's stuff that's really helpful for setting up successful dog training and for troubleshooting in particular. So we've been doing this where's the trigger thing, right? And where's the trigger is a game that I am you're gonna make a nest there, King. It's a game that I am using for our foundational game in Play Plus. It's a framework, a learning through play framework, and it's pretty sweet. A lot of people are teaching games and play, and I don't think they're teaching you how to play. I mean, they got games that you can play with, but how do you play with them? What are the aspects that make something play, right? And, you know, a game it may or may not be play. You know what I mean? It may or may not be a game. It could just be something that you guys wind up doing. It could wind up being a pattern. And how do you escape pattern training? And how do you capitalize on our dog training and turn it into consequent or self-induced consequent novel opportunity? That's what play is, right? So that's defined, it comes loosely from, Mihaly, Csikszentmihalyi, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He's the guy who created flow theory. There's a YouTube video of flow theory that I recommend. There are a bunch of them, but I don't like the influencer types, you know what I mean, that are like pushing on the theory and trying to get you to hack the flow state and things like that. Funny, dude. Isn't that amazing? Just like that, YouTube. Flow theory, it is flow theory. Huh. Either they changed their, there it is. Either they changed their thumbnail or Google's hiding it. And you know what? I bet Google's hiding it. It's a good long form video. It's really nice. I bet they're hiding it. So I'll put it up here. It's got a picture of it's got two books on it. A blue, it's the same book. It's front and back cover. It's a blue and, I don't know, chartreuse. It says flow, and then the back side is white. Can't miss it. If you look up flow theory, just scroll down, you'll find it. It is 1 hour and 49 minutes, 23 seconds long. And it's well worth it, guys. Super, super awesome. We are looking for the flow state in our dog training, for sure. For sure. It's that thing that has us coming back for more. In particular with Frisbee. And something about flow, it's not just keeping it moving, right? It's about things feeding into things and losing yourself within the game, losing time. You know, either a minute becomes like an hour, or a minute is gone in a second, right? That's what flow theory is about, or that's what the flow state is about, and we're always chasing it. So the Play Plus, it is the phenomenology of play. It's an actual philosophy that I'm putting together. It is based on flow theory. It is based on process philosophy by Albert North Whitehead. And it's also using the Cynefin framework. So today, I'm going to run through the a three-part decision-making process from process philosophy. It's called concrescence. We'll explain that. And I'm going to reference the Cynefin framework as essentially a map. So the Cynefin framework is, if you look it up online, it's Cynefin. And David Snowden, guy from IBM, created it. And it's a corporate tool for sense making. And he created it because all of the other corporate tools were very hierarchical and structured. They depended on the ordered domain. And reality doesn't work in the ordered domain, right? Behaviorism is in the ordered domain, and reality doesn't work in the ordered domain. The ordered domain is, we're going to call that reality. Reality is in my brain, but actually things look like this. Actuality is what's happening on the world. Reality is our kind of archetypical, our constructed version of the world. And that's a little backwards, it seems, but it's not. There are different ways of looking at it, and that's just the one that I chose. It fits with the subjective process philosophy and the team thing a little better than objective empiricism. I used to be a real empiricist, objective guy, and man, that shit is really taking a beating these days. So I guess I'll get going before I lose everybody. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play a video by this guy, Matthew Siegel. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He's a nice guy. I'm on his Discord now. He's kind of given me his blessing not to use a video. I just kind of grabbed it. I'll link it. I'll make sure everything is attached in the description, and I'll link it here. We're going to watch about 8 minutes of it, and he uses this really neat image and diagram, and I kind of took the image and the diagram, kind of wrapped it up into the dog thing, and made my own version of it. You can find the glossary term on our website. It's a good glossary on the website, by the way. pvibe.me/concrescence, right? So we're going to go through Matthew's video, and he's a young guy. Georgios is like, he looks like he's 15. Young guy, super knowledgeable about Alfred Whitehead and process philosophy. I'm going to be trying to tap his brain for sure. It's kind of interesting to be able to do something practical with it, right? So I think he'll be interested in hanging out with me as well. It should be a fruitful partnership or cooperative endeavor or something like that. So we're going to watch Matthew's video, and I'm going to reference the Cynefin framework here. And yeah, let's get on that. So first of all, I'll show you the Cynefin framework. Wrong. It's funny, each time I change scenes, it changes the, I don't want to rebrand this link, rebrandly. So this is the Cynefin framework, right? The hero dude he is so, like, he's badass, man. That dude does not mess around. So this is 4 domains and a 5th domain in the center. The clear domain, that's where behavioral facts and concepts live. Behavioral fact is a compound concept. So we have, attention, right? Targeting, like object, find the object, touch the object with your nose, like the feeling of touching, the feeling of your ass hitting the ground. Position, pressure, the feeling of pressure, those are concepts. The facts that go along with them, ass hitting the ground would be a sit. Attention for bite would be a compound concept, and we're calling those facts. And the facts and concepts live down here, right? They live down here in the clear domain, right? So the clear domain is concrete down here. The bottom is concrete. Why is this not showing up? The bottom is concrete. As we go up, it gets more and more abstract. King, dude, stop. So up here, we have things and processes. This is complicated, okay? And I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You can go to Tuesday and check it out. I go through it pretty comprehensively on Tuesday. Things and processes like full behaviors, behavior chains, forms, things that are more abstract, right? We start down here at the concrete. We go up and up and up and up to abstract. Over here, we have the state of disorder, or the unordered domains are on the left side. The ordered domains are on the right side. The further we go this way, the more ordered we get. So this side over here is reality, and that definition of reality, like the one that I create in my brain, that I understand, that's reality. Actually, when I play, it goes down like this, right? So actuality is the realm on this earth, right, that we have to interpret in order to know if it's real or not. Over here, I know what's real, right? A sit is real. My fly chi flow form is real. Actually, we don't have it so good, right? Actually is a good qualifier. It's essentially accepting that what's up here in our brains as reality is not reality. So I'll be referencing this, but I want to bring up Matthew's video here, and we'll watch it, and I'll break in a little bit, and I'll stop, and we'll talk about it, and here we go.
Head's term for how creativity or infinite productivity becomes a finite product. Concrescence is that process whereby the infinite becomes finite, but only for a moment, because the finite entity which has concressed immediately perishes back into this dim background from out of which we arise and perish. So if we turn these daffodils on their side, we can use them to illustrate concrescence, which Whitehead defines as, in terms of this,
we're doing philosophy,
almost magical formula.
Dog stuff.
Concrescence is the process whereby the many become one and are increased by one. What does that mean? Well, the many are perished objects in the past environment. So the daffodils here are, let's say, an actual occasion of experience, right?
A behavior.
And each actual occasion of experience begins by inheriting perished objects in its past environment. Now, in addition to the past environment, Whitehead also had this realm of what he called eternal objects. These are like Platonic forms, but unlike Plato's forms, Whitehead didn't privilege this realm of eternal objects as the preeminent actualities, right? For Plato, the forms were the most real things that there were, and the actual world was a pale imitation. Whitehead totally inverts that picture. These eternal objects for Whitehead become deficient in actuality, he says. They're pure potentials, but they long for actualization.
They want to be used.
And they're pure potentials so that they provide the different forms of definiteness that become actual in an actual occasion of experience. So colors, shapes, sounds, they're sort of like the adjectives that characterize our experience.
All right, so let's jump to the Cynefin framework here. Over here, oh shoot, I can't do it. Yeah, I can. Let me see. Shabanya. Let me move this. I gotta move everything. I'm sorry. All right, so we'll move this over here. And we'll move this over here too. Boom. Pow. Boom. And I think I'll go just for the preview here. So, grr. Didn't work so well. Son of a bitch. All right. So, no, I didn't want that. All right. I'm sorry, guys. I'm having some issues here. All right, so, and I will hide that. Okay, so those objects on, I need to open up QuickTime now. And I'll have to reference this here. So, and I do need to do one more thing. Funny. Sorry, guys. I did a much better job in class. Primary display. There we go. So these objects up here, these are eternal objects. These are perished objects. These are things from our past. These are our behavioral facts and concepts. So the ones along the top live down here. So those behavioral facts and concepts up there are attention, nose target, maybe a hand target. The difference between a nose target and a hand target, the nose target is Epi's nose, yes, touching my hand, right? So the feeling of the nose target, what it is to nose target. He can paw target. I don't know if he'll do that. He probably won't. I don't have a thing for that. He can paw target, right? His ass hitting the ground is a body target, right? Attention, targeting, position, pressure, duration. All of those things are eternal objects. They should be eternal objects for the dog. The things that the dog knows, the concepts that the dog knows, and they live down here. Behaviors like sit, they may or may not be down here, right? But those are facts, right? The sit is position, ass hitting the ground, duration, right? So it's a compound concept, that's a fact, right? Larger scale behaviors, pedestal behavior lives up here, probably not gonna be an eternal concept very often. It might be, but the eternal concept would be on and off. So threshold, duration, position, pressure maybe, and then the behavior itself would live up here. So our eternal concepts live down here. So annoying. Live down here, right? Our behaviors, the things and processes, are previous reps of our experience, right? So those objects on the left that he was talking about, those are the things that we bring to the table, okay? And they include our emotional state while doing the previous reps, success, failure. I'll get into that here in a sec. So let me jump in and we'll fire up the video again. Am I in the right one? Play. Play. Resume last video. All right.
So every actual occasion has these two poles to it, a physical pole and a mental pole, right? And so everything down to subatomic particles and the most trivial puff of existence in far off empty space, up to each moment of our conscious human experience is an actual occasion, which has a physical pole and a mental pole, though for very simple occasions like those associated, with photons or protons or subatomic particles, these occasions are mostly dominated by their physical pole, right? Which is to say that they're repeating what has occurred in their past without much innovation. Now, an occasion inherits its past via what Whitehead calls a prehension. And a prehension is a feeling, right? Prehensions are the process whereby the past is allowed, the objectified past, right? The perished past is allowed entry again into the present to be felt by this concressing occasion of experience.
All right, so we are a constantly concressing occasion of experience. These things in our past are previous reps or previous things that we've done. This prehension process is started with the cue. So I give the cue, touch. Epi's like, what? And then I give him, yes, something to touch, and he touches it, right? So when I gave him the cue, he then looked back through his past, and that's where he grabs the cue. And he grabbed the cue, I'm sitting here, I'm not facing him. That's why he was like, what? Right? And we'll get to what happens there in a sec. The physical pole is made up of our past things. That's reflex, that is top of my mind, first answer, knee-jerk reaction kind of thing. Matthew mentioned that he's talking about subatomic particles and stuff, like not people and thinking critters and whatnot, right? And they are dominated by the physical pole. They don't really have a mental pole, okay? So the physical pole is where they do all their work. That's where they take in all their stuff, and then boom, out the other side comes another rep of the wavelength, or, carbon atom connects with methane, or, oxygen with chlorine, right? Or two chlorines, I think. Anyway, you get the idea. Real crude, inorganic interactions. Very, maybe not simple, but mechanical, physical properties, right? The mental pole is, that's where you have the physical pole that starts everything is laid out, boom, and then we start to think about what's happening, right? And simple organisms really don't have that. The more complex the organism gets, the more the mental pole comes into play. Dogs are said not to generalize well, right? Well, how the hell does a dog know what you're doing when you grab your keys? Or how does the dog know that this pair of shoes means we're playing Frisbee? How do they know what time it is?
Eternal objects are not, you could say they're prehended. They're conceptual prehensions, but Whitehead also has a term for this called ingression. So these pure potentials ingress into the mental pole of an occasion to allow this occasion to, again, characterize what it has inherited from its past environment. Now, without the ingression of eternal objects to provide an actual occasion with some novelty, some alternative ways of characterizing what it is inheriting from its past, then there would only be repetition, right, in each of these occasions of experience. And so the ingression of eternal objects provides some source of novelty in the mental pole of an occasion so that it can innovate upon what it is inheriting from its past. But again, simpler forms of experience, say in the inorganic world, they don't ingress much novelty. They mostly repeat the past, right? It's only more complex living organisms and multicellular animals like mammals and primates and humans who can ingress these pure potentials so as to really radically shift from what we inherit from the past and do.
So the cues given
the dog brings these things to the table. It's a touch, right? The physical pole, you know, it's the knee-jerk kind of reaction to it, right? We'll just start there. And then the mental pole is the abstract reality that's required to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. And that abstract reality is going to be constructed through these objects here, or our behavioral concepts and facts over here, right? So the dog hears the cue, right? The dog hears the cue, and then they go, okay, so what's going on up here? Which of my behavioral concepts are going to be applicable to this? I know my handler's this far away. I know this is, he gave me a touch cue, huh? And what am I going to do to solve this problem? And that creation of that abstract reality happens after the cue.
Something
right?
totally new, almost.
It happens after the cue. And these eternal objects or behavioral concepts and facts are pulled into the mental pole to make sense of what's happening. This happens on every cue we give. Every single cue we give, the dog does this, boom, and makes it happen, right? We're doing things a little bit differently. We're kind of promoting this with a little space in between that we call aporia. So I give the cue, I wait. The dog then sifts through his behavioral concepts, looks at the situation, and constructs an abstract reality to accomplish the goal, right? And then my trigger actualizes that and puts it into motion and makes the decision for the dog, right?
We might.
Whitehead has prehension, cognition, decision, right? And we have cue, aporia, trigger.
Say freedom, something like freedom seems to become possible in human beings. We don't just have to repeat the past anymore. But again, the inorganic world does mostly repeat the prehensions of its past, which is why physics can develop such reliable, lawful descriptions of what happens in the inorganic world.
It's also why behaviorism doesn't think the mental pole exists. Behaviorism, clicker training, proper positive training, operant conditioning suggests that the mental pole does not exist. It does everything it can to erase that mental pole, right? The mental pole is where creativity happens. Creativity is not exactly the strong point of science. Creativity ruins my experiment. I want the critter to do it the same way every time. And when I can do it like that, and I can give you the methodology, and you can repeat my results, we have science, right? And there's great things to be learned from science, but it's a facilitator of activity and understanding and knowledge. It's not a limiter. And that's a really critical thing. We've been limited by behaviorism for 50 years, 60 years, since Skinner, right? You're not allowed to do that. It's not science. Well, science can't do the creative part. It avoids it. There is zero factual theories on consciousness. None. We can't predict one thing about consciousness. We can do what parts of the brain fire and how things travel up the nervous system and stuff like that. But as far as why did you choose this over that? What is the taste of chocolate? What does a rose smell like? What do colors feel like or look like? Qualia? Not even a hope. It's called the hard problem of consciousness, and science has written it out. Behaviorism has been so successful scientifically because it eradicates and gets rid of the mental pole. So we're left with things like dogs don't generalize well. when you can go and put on the particular pair of shoes and your dog is knowing exactly what's going to happen, right? And dogs generalize plenty well. Behaviorism doesn't generalize well. Dogs do great abstract thinking. Behaviorism does not do abstract thinking, right? So, yeah, pretty important.
It's very difficult to predict how a human being will behave in a new situation. But even us, we still have some degree of habituality, right, in our behavior. But nonetheless, we ingress these pure potentials and are capable of quite a bit of novelty. Now, this term,
the novelty idea, again, science doesn't like novelty, man. Yeah, that's the whole idea here. And you, I don't generalize behavior, Maggie. I conceptualize it, and we've been talking about that in class. Really cool stuff. But those abstract notions, right? Those abstract notions are what allow us to generalize, and traditional operant conditioning and behaviorism in general stymies that, because that creativity that Matthew's talking about right now is not okay for science. It's starting to be okay as we get greater and greater computational stuff, but we still don't know what's in the box. We still don't know what something smells like or what it tastes like or what it's like to have that experience. And consciousness is all about experiences. Right? This is, Matt here, this idea of concrescence, Whitehead's idea of concrescence, is an actualized experience, right? And as such, science can't touch it. It's like, you know, friggin' garlic or kryptonite for Superman, right?
Subjective form is Whitehead's way of talking about the emotional quality that a occasion experiences as it begins to inherit its past. How does it feel about that past, right? That's the subjective form. And then the subjective aim is how, in the process of concressing, the various prehensions of the past are led to grow together, and any conflict between them, between the feelings of the past, is brought into contrast, Whitehead says, and harmonized like notes in a chord that is struck. And so the subjective aim allows the many of the past to grow together into a new one, right?
All right, so the subjective form, that's the baggage we bring, right? That's the baggage we bring. Or, you know, the zeal that we bring to the table. Arousal would fit in here, apprehension, you know, poison cue, right? Those are the things that we bring to the table, the subjective form. The subject is the critter experiencing, in our case, the dog. But there's the dog, the handler, and the team that all go through this at the same time, right? So the subject, the form, the emotional state, the current mood, the historical interactions with these things over here. Can you see my cursor moving by any chance? I hope you can. The things on the left, how those things went down, our successes, our failures, and how we feel about them. Poison cues, things like that are all in the subjective form, right? And that starts at the physical pole. As we start to construct our reality, we have a subjective aim, the aim of the subject that's acting, right? And that subjective aim is going to be harmonized and meshed, or I kind of see this as like a spiral going from here and around and around and around and around until we get to the finish, right? But that subjective form will match up with the subjective aim. Well, you know, I'm really gung-ho right now, right? I'm super gung-ho. I'm stoked. We've been cracking. Everything's awesome. But man, you just called a hand target. And I don't know about that thing. That thing sucks, right? That's bundled together. And then as the dog constructs his reality with the behavioral concepts up top, I really hope you can see those. The behavioral concepts up top, right? That subjective aim gets wrapped up with subjective form, and that colors the performance and the experience. When the behavior or the activity is actualized, if we went through the process, there's satisfaction, right? And satisfaction is the finish of the behavior. And if we went through this, the behavior was prehended, starting at the left with the colorful icons, shoots into the physical pole, the subject runs through the behavioral concepts and facts, assembles and constructs an abstract reality to accomplish the goal of the subjective aim, budgets in the subjective feelings and emotional experiences and baggage from the past, and then boom, we actualize it, and we have satisfaction on the output. Satisfaction,
and achieve satisfaction as this new subject, which for Whitehead, as soon as that new subjective point of view is achieved, it perishes, right? And becomes a superject. And this...
So when the dog eats the cookie, right? When the dog eats the cookie, it's gone. It's gone, right? That satisfaction is just such a small moment. Everything is in anticipation of the satisfaction, right? If we go through this process, even if we don't hit the goal, we still get satisfaction in that you are able to alter what you bring to the table at the beginning, right? So if I go through this and miss, I still was given the cue over here at the physical pole, or at apprehension on the colorful objects. I collapse them into a physical pole and some semblance of a starting point for what's going on. I read the situation, and then I go up to the top to my external or my eternal objects, my behavioral facts and concepts, and I run through and I construct reality. I ingress them into the mental pole, into my abstract reality. You're this far away, you're 36 inches away, you're standing in this fashion, you've told me to touch, I bet you it's going to happen over there. And then I trigger, and boom, you go there. If it matched your abstract reality, that's satisfying, right? That's satisfying, I know what I'm doing. If it didn't match, it's also satisfying because, wow, why didn't it match? That's interesting, what's up, right? And then on the next rep, over here at the beginning, over on the left with prehension, we bring new knowledge, and that is that superject. It's a unity of the old you and your satisfaction, poof, and now you are a new you are a new subject, a superject. I think the superject is a really terrific fit for the team. Hang on, Maggie, I gotta see. Yeah, it might. I'm not super familiar with radical behaviorism. I'm going on the fact that I've been a fucking heretic. I've been getting yelled at for my entire dog training career for everything I've done. And every couple years a white paper comes out that's in my favor, right? And so I would imagine the radical behaviorists, either they're super, are they super math? Yeah, if they're Skinner on crack, this is completely the opposite way. This is completely the opposite way. This is metaphysics. This is math meets metaphysics. This is, Whitehead was a superstar math guy, right? I believe he wrote the Principia Mathematica, right? No joke. Him and Bertrand Russell, right? No joke. And